Cool, cool. So guys, thanks for jumping on here. Gary, thank you very much for jumping in to teach us. Just so you guys know, if you're watching this, a replay of the YouTube video, we're doing this every Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock Mountain Time, noon Eastern. Just adding some training. Obviously EXP has great training, 80 hours a week. I've had people ask me, why would you add these in? The one thing I like about this is that it's Zoom and it's smaller and it can be pretty interactive. Definitely a chance for you guys to ask questions and maybe just, a little more intimate than what the big classes are in EXP. Those are awesome. Send in as many as you can. No way those don't help your business. But we do have a lot of great people on our team that can share some stuff. I think this is our 6th or 7th one of these, and they've been phenomenal. So Gary Jordan teaching today. Gary's certified with Buffini and Company as one of their trainers, teaches a class a couple times a year. Primarily to his group, whatever, but doing some awesome stuff with that. Been a realtor for 13 years. If you haven't seen it yet, guys, I would tell you to go back and watch. Gary and I did a live interview last week that went really well on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. That got posted up there as well, just him sharing some good nuggets. But Gary, I appreciate you jumping in. Great having you on board with us. And I know you got some things to little share. So I got my notepad, I got my pen. I'm ready to go. So anyway, Gary Jordan, take it away, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm glad to be here, guys. And I want to talk to you this morning about a couple of things. I think things really important and very time sensitive right now. And the first thing is not really part of today's topic. Today's topic is going to be about how to build your database, how to qualify to be really good prospects that are going to use you as a realtor if they ever have a real estate need, and how to develop a consistent source of referrals from them. But before getting into that database building conversation, I mentioned to you the fact I think one thing is real important this time of the year, something I've done every year for the last, decades, is spending a lot of time during the last week or two of the year, putting together your goals for the next year and putting together a plan to reach those goals. If you haven't got a goal, you don't know where you're going, you're going to just be, I can assure you, very disappointed at the end of the year where you've been just busy as can be, running circles, but when you run in circles, end up in the same place. And there's an old proverb that says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that's so true. You got to know where you're going first, have a goal, and then put together a plan on how to get there. So that's enough said about goals and plans, but I just can't emphasize to you how important that really is. I don't care whether you're a brand new rookie or whether you've been in the business 30 years, you want to go to the next level, take the time to establish your goals, thing to get you excited, establish the whys, and put together the how-to, the plan. Now, one goal a lot of people may have, especially if you're new in real estate, is how to really develop a good substantial database and keep it current and keep it where it's a consistent source of referrals for you. I've chosen, by using the Buffini system, which is a working by referral system, I've chosen not to do cold calls. I've chosen not to do door knocking. And I've chosen not to do farming neighborhoods and spending all this money on posters and stationery and so forth and so forth. Those things do work if you work those systems consistently, but they aren't much fun. And most things that I'll say this, these aren't fun, typically do pay off, but there's other ways of doing things besides those methods, and I've chosen to working by referral as my main source of creating prospects and clients to help buy and sell real estate. So I want to share with you today just how to establish a database and how to qualify your database, and where it'll always be working for you. And it's an ongoing thing. You don't establish a database one day and plan on that database being the thing from now on. You got to always be adding to it. You got to be adding people to it, taking people off of it, because things change. I can assure you that if you have somebody in your database and unknown to you, their best friend or their favorite sister happens to be a realtor, chances are the time and money you spent stay in touch with them, send them information and so forth, it's not going to pay off very well for you. So it's important to ask these kind of questions.
$80 in tips only.
Somebody have a question?
No, I got it. Yeah, it was a mic on. We're good.
Okay. Anyway, I'm going to share my screen with you right now. I'm going to go through what I call an ebook diagram and structure of how to build your database. I picked up from the Buffini system. If anybody wants a copy of this ebook when the event is over today, reach out to me. I'll be happy to send it to you by email. And it's a money maker. I recommend putting it in your resources for future reference because it makes it fairly clear about how to do this successfully. So I'm going to share my screen. Hang on, guys, and we'll go to this. Okay. Okay, how to build your real estate database from scratch. I'm just assuming today we're going to talk about a brand new realtor, but if you got a database already started, this is you're going to find something feel very important to do with your current database. You know, if you're new to the business, if you recently relocated to a certain area, you're starting all over. You know, you wonder about it, who am I going to talk to? And, you know, how am I going to get people to help buy and sell and so forth. And no matter what your situation is, you need to have a consistent, high quality group of leads and people in your database. This ebook I have here is designed to help you start from scratch and how to identify people to put in your database. You may think you don't know enough people, but a little bit of effort and work and thinking about it, spend some time doing it, you'll find out you know a lot more people than you think you do. So what is a database? You know, a database is a document or a system that has people that you know in it who are people you want to stay in touch with, help them with their real estate needs when the time comes. You know, the key thing is starting off from square one, you know, building your database and thinking about who do you know we can add to this database. And the goal also, this is important now, is to continuously communicate your professional character and competence for these relationships, and always don't forget to ask for referrals. If people know you, trust you, and like you, and they haven't got a best friend or a family member who's a realtor, chances are if you stay in touch with them and consistently bring them items of value, information of value, and you always remind them that you work by referral, and you softly ask them, you know, Marcy, if you were thinking about buying or selling a home, or you knew somebody who did or who was, do you have a certain realtor you always use or refer to? And if they say yes, well, you know personally that's okay. But they're not the person you want to have in your database to stay in touch with on a long-term regular basis. But you'll say to them, great, I'm glad you have somebody you know, like, and trust. If anything ever changes, let me know. I'd be honored to be your professional realtor. If they say yes, if they say no, they don't have a realtor, then you'll say to them, great, I'd love to be that person to stay in touch with you, continuously bring you items of value on a regular basis, information about real estate, information about the local market. If you ever have any real estate needs, I love the opportunity to be your go-to person. And ask them the question, you know, would you like me to send this information to you on a regular basis? And most are going to say yes. You know, if a person says no, well, that's okay. It's not fatal. But most are going to say yes. When they say yes, then, if they're okay for you to send information to them, ask them, what's the best place for me to send this to? What's your address? What's your phone number? And what's your email address? Get it, put it in your database, and you got a qualified prospect then. Somebody who's going to use you, as long as you don't screw up, they're going to use you as a realtor if they have a real estate need in the future. And keep reminding them on a regular basis that you work by referral, and that you're never too busy for their referrals, eventually, a lot of them will become your biggest advocate, be waving your flag on a regular basis, and start giving you referrals if you keep asking them for it. You can't ask them for it one time. People have their own lives. They're busy. They don't think about you every morning about who can I send a referral to, Jeff today. They think about trying to, their own life and own issues and whatever the situation may be. So you got to constantly remind them on a regular basis for it to really kind of begin to stick. So where should you start? Building a database. This is real important. Whether you're brand new to the business or you relocated to the area, the first place to start is making a list of people you know. I would recommend aiming for at least 100 to start with. 100 may sound a lot. I had a person in my class this last month, the Buffini class I was teaching. Been in the Colorado Springs area for a couple of years, and she had 19 people in her database. Like, holy smoke, how could you only have 19 after being here for 2 years? Well, it's just a matter of not working on trying to develop people for your database. So how do you get 100 to begin with? Well, it's to include your family and friends to start with. You can include your business relationships, the services you use, social media contacts, spheres of influence. It's just for starters. Family and friends. I'm talking about parents and grandparents, and in-laws, siblings, children, aunts, uncles, cousins, close friends. There's lots of them out there. You just think about it. Write them down on your list. You put them on your list to begin with. Then later on, you'll go to them once you have your list. You know who to contact and tell them you're in the real estate business. You're excited about it. You're starting your new career, and ask them the question. Ask them the magic golden question. If you were thinking about buying or selling a home, or one of your family members or friends were, do you have a realtor you'd always refer to? I mean, that question is, I've got it for you in writing in this book also, that exact same script. But you got to ask that question. You got to qualify them and see if they're people you want to keep in your database. Your business relationships. Now, who's that include? Well, think about this. Just spend some time. Your past colleagues, people you work with in the past, vendors you worked with in your previous career, professors, teachers, Sunday school teachers, just anybody you've worked with in the past. Write those people down and then contact them. Services you use. Everybody's using all kinds of services all the time. You're going to the gas station. You're going to the hairstylist. You got a banker. You got an insurance agent. You've got a doctor. You got a dentist, accountant, favorite waiter or waitress at a restaurant, barista at the coffee shop, landscaper, masseuse, yard mowing service. Just go on and on about people who provide services that you use. Florist, anybody you use, do you have a how you doing relationship with? They should be on your list of possible prospects. Social media contacts. This is the day and age of the social media. You got the Facebook, got the LinkedIn, all types of social media platforms. I'm sure everybody here, most everybody here, has their own Facebook page. This new age and time. Well, you probably got a lot of Facebook friends, and probably some of those Facebook friends, people you know really well. It should be all people you know really well, but that isn't always the case. But through Facebook, you can have a message back and forth about you're in real estate, you're working by referral, and you can ask them the question. You prefer to have a conversation by the phone, or even better yet, have a face-to-face conversation, but you don't have to. Instant messages via Facebook is better than nothing at all. The main thing is you don't want to be a secret agent and nobody knows what you do. I've got a little story to tell you about one individual I know in real estate. He had a project of passing out 100 cards, 100 business cards per month of his own. Just people he talked to, anybody he talked to, anybody he ran into, he gave them the card and say, by the way, I'm in real estate, here's my card, if I can ever help you. It wasn't a full-fledged conversation, but it got the word out that what he does, he's in real estate. And by passing out 100 cards per month, that's just 3 per day. Just doing that and not being a secret agent, he developed 6 new sales from those just total strangers the very first year. And 6 sales in a market like, the Colorado Springs market, for example, you're talking about, probably at least 60 grand. So that was a really good ROI on his efforts and his expenses and his time, is passing out business cards, having a conversation. Your spheres of influence, another great source of people to put in your database. Your family, friends of friends. Ask your friends, who do they know? Somebody who's of similar quality to themselves, who might have some real estate needs, or would like to maybe have the information sent to them on a regular basis about the real estate market, about the value of their home, and so forth. Community organizations. Think about this. One of the best ways I've found personally to increase my database, which database is, over a decade old now, it's got probably over 1,000 people in my database. I'm still adding to it all the time. No matter where you live, there are professional business mixture events going on every day. Just do a little research. You can find events going on every day. You got to get out of the house, you got to get out of your comfort zone, but go out there and start meeting people at these business mixture events. When I go to a mixture event, it's a job. I have a pretty good time also at a mixture event, but I can promise you, spending 2 or 3 hours going to and from, and a couple hours there. I'd rather be home petting my dog. I'd rather be fishing on the river somewhere versus going to a mixture event. So when I go to one, I have a goal in place. When I go through the front door, I've got 10 of my own business cards in my pocket. And my job is, while I'm there, to exchange my 10 business cards for 10 cards that belong to somebody else. Keep in mind that at a business mixture event, people are there for a reason. They're there to create contacts and create relationships. So it's not offensive at all to pull up your business card to anybody you're talking to, even if it's just a short conversation about how you doing, how's the weather, football, snow skiing, whatever you want to talk about, and give me a business card and ask for theirs. That's what you're there for. So if you do that once a week, just go to one mixture event per week, and you do that for, let's just say, 40 weeks out of the year. Do the math. 40 times 10 is 400 new relationships. Hey, cut it in half. Say you just say 10 sounds too much for you. Hey, that's still 200 relationships. So in a year's time, if you have part of your weekly plan of things to do, your weekly action items is to go to one business mixture event, and your goal is to go through the door and come out of there with 5 new business cards. You're going to end up at the end of the year with 200 brand new relationships. Now, going to a mixture event, I've kind of mastered this little process, because it's really a 3-step process. First process is going to the event and mixing out there, talking, getting the business card. The second step is, and it's a very important step, is to follow up with a phone call or an email or both. And you follow up, what you're going to say, guys, is, hey, I really enjoyed meeting you at the such and such event last night or Wednesday night. I'd love to meet with you and hear more about your business. And maybe I can bring some business to you. When's a good time to have a cup of coffee or meet by Zoom just to hear more about what you're doing? You want to ask them about what they're doing. You don't want to just be blasting away about what you're doing. If you ask the questions to someone about what they do, about their asking, remember that. Write this down. Write the word frog down. F-R-O-G. Now, when you ever wonder about what am I going to talk to somebody about, think about frog. Ask somebody about their family. They know the answer. Ask somebody about recreation, whether it be football season, basketball, soccer, snow skiing, whatever. Ask them about what they like to do, what their hobbies are. They know the answer there. Ask them about their occupation, about their business. Let them tell you their story about what they do. They have the answer. And ask them about their goals. What are they planning on doing? Where they plan on being a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road? People love to talk about themselves. And if you want to create a real strong first impression of somebody, let them talk about themselves. Ask the question to trigger those conversations. I can promise you it'll come around to them asking you about your business too. So when you ask those questions, though, write down the answers. Put it in your database. Information about their family, their spouse's name, their kids' names, their dog or cat's name, and so forth. Just personal information like that. Write down about their business, things they tell you, whatever their service happens to be, how long they've been in the business, what some of their major challenges are. Write down what their goals are, what they're planning on doing with their business over the next year or so. So you'll know about this person. This is all part of establishing a good relationship and being somebody that is going to like you. If you're asking them the questions about things that they know the answer to, chances are they're going to like you. So I just encourage you to do that. At the same time, though, when you're having this meeting with someone, you're asking them about frog, family, recreation, occupation, and goals. You want to also be sure and tell them about, when you tell them about your business, about how you work. And if you're working by referral, like I do, I say something like this. I want to tell you how I work and why my real estate business is different than what most other realtors do. I work by referral. It's important for me to tell them I work by referral. I want to work with people like you, people of quality, high quality people like yourself. Most realtors spend the majority of their time and lots of their money buying internet leads, making cold calls, doing open houses, doing door knocking in neighborhoods, sending out tons of mail in each month, farming areas. And that's okay. I've done it before. I tell them I've done it before, and it does work. But I don't enjoy it as much as working by referral. So what I do, instead of spending all my time doing those other things, I spend that same amount of time pouring it into my people, staying in touch on a regular basis, providing them information and value items on a monthly basis, calling to stay in touch, and just providing a real good personal service that most realtors don't. And end up, I always say, ask them the magic question, Frankie or Joe or Sally or Betty, if you were thinking about buying a home, selling a home, or you knew somebody who was, do you have a realtor you would always use or refer to? You got to ask that question. And if they say no, so I'd like to be that person for you and stay in touch. And you've already got their business card. So you've already got their phone number and email address. You may ask them for their home address. Ask them if they own their own home or if they're renting. And just more information you have like this, put in your database, the better your relationship is going to be to start with. Now, as I'm going through this, guys, this presentation right now about building a database and qualifying a database, I'm always open for questions too, but when we get finished up here in a few minutes, definitely it'll be a Q&A time. But just keep in mind, this where should I start? You're talking to your family and friends, you're talking to business relationships, the services you use, social media contacts, and spheres of influence. There's tons of people that you can find from those sources, not to mention the conversation I just had with you about going to professional business mixer events and meeting people and going through that process of following up. And the last thing too about this professional business mixer event, the final step is after you have a meeting with them and learn about them and so forth, if you want to really impress them, take 5 minutes and write and send them a handwritten personal thank you note for their time. And they don't get many of those. And I can assure you, they get a personal handwritten thank you note. It's going to make an impression. It's going to make a very, very positive impression. So the 4 steps there. Number 1, get out of your comfort zone, get out of your house, and go to a mixer event. Number 2, follow-up call and email to schedule a time to meet, either in person or via Zoom, a coffee meeting or Zoom. Number 4, have the meeting, have the conversation, ask the frog questions, let them talk about themselves. And number 4, then, I didn't lose count. Number 4 is a follow-up thank you personal handwritten note. Boom. You got your relationship established, they're qualified, they'll use you. And if you stay in touch on a regular basis after going through those processes, I can assure you, you're going to have some great success in your real estate career. The things you may think in the back of your mind, question may pop up. I don't want to bother my friends and family about my business. Doggone it. Don't be a secret agent. Usually your friends and your family want you to succeed. If you tell them what I've just been saying, tell them that you're excited about your business and you're going to work by referral, and ask them the question. Once again, the same question. If you're going to be thinking about buying or selling a home, or do you have a realtor you always use or refer to? Ask that question. It's qualifying them. And if they say yes, okay, it's not fatal. If they say no, you got you a nice qualified prospect, and tell them that you work by referral. Another thing in the back of your mind, a question, why not to? I'm new to the area, don't know anyone. That's okay. Go through that list again. Get out of your comfort zone, get out of the house, get out there and start mixing with people. Go to the mixer events. Contact people on the list before, your family and friends, your spheres of influence, your people you use, and the vendors and so forth. Social media contacts, they're there. And why should I aim for 100 people? It's just a good start. Keep this in mind, guys. If you have 100 qualified prospects in your database, people you have asked that question about, do they have a realtor? And you stay in touch. The national stats say that a family typically averages moving once every 7 years. Well, if you have 100 people in your database, and that 7-year kind of is the average, that should equate for you to around 12 to 14 sales per year once you have this system in place and you're staying in touch. And I can assure you that 12 to 14 sales per year, for most people, would be well received and you'd be very happy about it. In Colorado Springs market, 12 sales per year, you're making a 6-figure income. Now you think about, I don't feel comfortable getting out of my comfort zone. I don't feel comfortable leaving my house and going to a mixer and talking to strangers. What's the most uncomfortable for you? Staying in your current situation financially, staying at your current income level, or it'd be less uncomfortable to get out of the house and go out there and meet people, have a nice conversation, have a nice coffee meeting, and just let everybody know what you do. It's not that big of a deal. It may seem awkward to you at first. I can assure you that, David, I imagine when you first started playing the guitar, it probably was pretty awkward. But doing it over and over and over, not just days, but for a few months and for a few years and for a few, and sometimes a few decades, all of a sudden it's second nature. It's just, and you're good at it. You can really enjoy it. You feel comfortable. You want to do it. So I just encourage you to, if you want things to change in your current situation, unfortunately, you've got to change and develop these skills and get out of your comfort zone if you want things that you really want to become a reality. And that's why it's also important, guys, I mentioned before about having goals and spending some time thinking about what you really want. Not just about money. It's about the things you can do, the options you'll have in life if you have money. It's one thing to go on a vacation to a Pueblo. It's another thing to go on a vacation to Paris, France. Well, if money isn't the issue and you have the option, it's a pretty cool thing. But if money is the issue, you don't have those options. So the goals you have that get you excited, make you get out of bed in the morning, that you really want to obtain, are really, really important. Wrapping up, have a list of everybody I know. Now what? Well, I recommend very strongly to have a really good CRM system, a customer relationship management system. Being with EXP, you've got one as part of your package with KV Core. It's a great CRM system, does a lot of things for you. So put these people, your relationships in the KV Core system. Learn how to use KV Core. It's all, once again, it's all part of the educational process. You don't have to learn it all. Just learn a few things about it to begin with that can make it effective for you. But get some training. Get them into a CRM system, and then start staying in touch on a regular basis. According to the National Association of Realtors, they ran a survey here a few years ago, stopping people on the street, I think maybe in New York City or some big city, and they asked them, do you own your own home? And they said yes. Said, well, if you were going to be buying or selling that home, would you use the same realtor you used before? And most of them said, well, yeah, I would, but I don't know how to get a hold of her or him. The results of that survey said that 8 out of 10 realtors do not stay in touch with their clients. That's crazy. That's crazy, because your clients and your prospects are your gold mine for your business. Staying in touch on a regular basis, providing them items of value on a regular basis, letting them know that you care about them it just puts you in that 20% who do stay in touch and who have all the success. And I can promise you, in real estate, the 80-20 rule does work still. 20% of the realtors make 80% of the money, and by doing the little things that most don't do. So put them in a good CRM system, stay in touch on a regular basis, and find things to send your people or talk to your people about that are of value. There's all types of sources of information about real estate and other things too, that part of everyday life that you can send to your people, call your people about, that are items of value. You got to give before you're going to start receiving. And the giving is staying in touch, making the phone calls, stopping by to say hello, writing the personal notes and so forth with information of value. The receiving, if you keep asking the question, keep making the statement that, oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals. It'll start coming to you. May not happen on day one, probably won't, but it will happen in time. In the Buffini system, they have a great CRM system called Referral Maker. I personally use that as well as KV Core. The Referral Maker is just a contact relationship management system that strictly works on helping you develop referrals. It provides you the content to send out each month, both snail mail content as well as a monthly email content. It provides you note cards to send out. It provides you with the scripts of what to say on your note cards for any situation. And it's a great system. About $50 a month, you can have the Referral Maker system that is will keep you in touch with people on a regular basis, and we'll check that box for you. I highly recommend it. That's why I use both. It hasn't got all the artificial intelligence and all the bells and whistles and muscle that KV Core has, but it puts together for you a structured plan of what to do each day. It tells you, based upon your input of your goals, your financial goals, it tells you how many calls you have to make each day, how many notes you should write each day, and how many pop bys, just stopping by to say hello for a few minutes, you should do each day to reach those goals. If you're doing this with qualified people that you've developed in your database. So we're kind of wrapping things up. Starting off, what I do first, send everyone in your database a letter via snail mail. Let them know you're in the real estate business and you plan to work primarily about the referral. That's the first thing you do once you have your people in your database. Take some time, get that 100 in there to begin with, and then have this first mailer to your database. All of a sudden now you're not a secret agent. It gives you a reason now to give them all a follow-up call. To get my letter. I'm excited about being in real estate now. I'm excited to work by referral. And if you run across somebody, ask them the question. If you run across somebody who's thinking about buying or selling, somebody of similar quality to yourself, I'd really appreciate, and I'm never too busy for that referral. Ask that question. So, what do you say? This is in writing for you. I've been saying it to you over and over this morning. Whenever you're talking to somebody on the phone, whenever you're having a conversation with them at a mixer event and so forth, whether you feel like it or not, you got to act like and look like you're enthusiastic and excited. Don't be, in the doldrums. Don't negative kind of things. Talk about positive things and be excited about being there. Be excited about being on the phone, because those kind of things are very, very contagious. Smile a lot. If you're meeting somebody in person at these events, smile a lot. There's an old proverb I believe in. I know that works. It's nothing more contagious than a smile, except a frown. So don't forget that. You can walk down the street sometime, guys. You can be driving down the street at a red light, look over somebody in the car next to you and smile. Chances are they're going to smile back. You do something that's not positive to somebody in the car next to you, you probably get this very similar kind of reaction. But be positive, smile a lot, ask the question, like I said before, if you're thinking about buying or selling a home, or a member of your family or friends were, you have a realtor you would always refer to. Ask that question over and over, and it'll qualify your database. You'll make sure they don't already have a realtor. It's really important. Don't want to waste your time, effort, money on somebody who already has a realtor. The mayor campaign dialogue, I've been saying to you all morning now, is right here. It's in writing, this e-booklet. Oh, by the way, if you're buying or selling a home, had a friend or family member who was, am I the person you would refer them to? If they say no, then let them know. It's great they have someone they trust to work with. If that ever changes, you'll always be here to help. If they say yes, let them know you've been keeping in touch with them and you're happy to take excellent care of anyone they refer to you. Down below here, you'll find the exact things to say, the exact dialogue. And I recommend that, guys, take the time to practice these dialogues. These dialogues didn't just pop out of the sky this morning as being something that might work. These are dialogues that have been proven for the last 25 years by the Buffini training systems that do work. So hope this has been of value to you. It's telling you to build your database. It's telling you who to talk to build your database, your family and friends, your social media contacts, your people you work with, past colleagues, and on and on. It's telling you the things to say to them, to qualify them as a prospect, to make sure they don't already have another realtor. It's showing you what to send them as far as your introductory letter, that you're in the real estate, you're working by referral. And it doesn't matter, guys, whether you're, once again, whether you're new or whether you're a rookie, if you want to work by referral, send them that letter. At least send it to your best prospects and give them a follow-up call. So that's all I have for right now, guys. Hope I didn't wear you out with
Good stuff, Gary.
the information and topic. But I'm open for any Q&As you may have, and hopefully you got a few nuggets out of me rambling nonstop for the last 30 plus minutes. Anybody have any questions?
I've got one. How often do you send stuff out? Is it like a once a month kind of thing? Is it
Great question, Jeff. Yes, I send out every month on the first of the month a mailer to my very best relationships. Now, you may ask, well, how you know who your best relationships are? You got to just analyze, who you have the strongest relationships with. Who the people most likely would refer to you if they ran across somebody who had a real estate need. And those I send out a snail mail letter to once a month. The Buffini system provides me the letter to send out. It's already prepared. It provides a 4-color, 2-sided flyer of information about the topic for that month.
Nice.
About real estate half the time. It's about just life stuff half the time. It's about how to increase the value of your home without spending a lot of money. It's about the real estate market this year. It's about how to improve your credit score. It's about how to throw a party without going broke. It's about ways to deal with all the social media, chaos. It's not all about real estate, half and half.
Right.
But it's very well received. It gives you a great reason to call somebody. To get that letter about ways to improve your credit score. To get that letter about, how to deal with this world of all this crazy tech.
Yeah.
And
to get that letter about how to save money on throwing that party. When's the party? Well, I'm coming over.
right now, this is party time. That letter usually goes out about Thanksgiving, Christmas time of the year when everybody's throwing parties.
Yeah.
How to throw a party without going broke. But it's very well received.
So about once a month, the first of the month, you send one thing. I
send a
learned
mail out to my top 100
right.
once a month, and every month on the 15th, I send out a very high quality email, kind of like constant contact. It's 4-color information about a similar topic, if not the exact same topic as a snail mail letter. It goes out to everybody.
Okay.
In my case, I've got almost 1,000 in my database. They all get that. Staying in touch. There's no reason anybody in my database who has a real estate need, if they want me to be their realtor, can't get a hold of me. I'm tapping on the shoulder at least once a month, and my very best ones, I'm tapping them on the shoulder at least twice a month automatically. It's even before I make my phone calls. but it's before I make any personal notes and so forth.
Yeah.
It's before I do any pop buys and just stop by to say hello, is in the area, thinking about you, hope things are going well. I got to go. Oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals. It's a quick pop and so forth.
It's really good.
But a great question.
One thing
Anybody
I've
else?
learned, if I could just throw something out, I mean, with Craig Proctor's program, with any kind of snail mail that you put out, just to put it out there, but handwrite the envelope, the address and stuff on the envelope, it's much easier just to print a bunch of stickers and stick them on, get your kids helping you with that. But, if you handwrite it out, they're going to open it up. It's a Christmas card. It's a letter of some sort from somebody, whatever. It's not a business piece, because a lot of that
That's
just
great point,
yeah.
Jeff.
So just a little thing, whatever, but yeah.
I can't emphasize to you how important, how profound the impact is of you handwriting a little short personal note.
Yeah.
I've had many business professionals, I'm talking about bank presidents, financial planners, doctors, lawyers and so forth, as well as just people in my database who call me and say, I got your personal note. I really appreciate that. I never get a personal written note. I get spam, junk mail all the time, but your note, by open that baby up. I didn't just throw it in the tray. I opened it up. I really appreciate it. It makes a real impact.
For sure.
Just think, guys, how many personal notes have you received in the mail in the last month? Handwritten by somebody.
You know what? I got one from Marcy. She had to go in here. Marcy sent me a thank you card in the mail.
Good for her. Good for
And
her.
seriously,
She has-
I was blown away by it. Whatever. I mean, I really was, because it just, you don't get them anymore. She and I got on
Exactly
here one
right.
day. I was helping her with some stuff, whatever. And 3 or 4 days later, here comes a little thank you card in the mail. I was like, wow, that's your daughter.
So
Learn it from dad. Learn it from dad.
exactly the response you had, Jeff, is what is the kind of response that you will get.
Yeah.
Your handwritten personal notes on a big majority of the time.
Mhm.
For sharing that.
For sure. What other questions or comments, guys? Good stuff here.
That kind of answered my question, because I was wondering, Gary, how often you call these people if you got 1,000. That's a lot of phone calls to make. But I mean, your top 100, it sounds like you're differentiating who are those people you're going to touch most often. So
Exactly, David. And I don't call all 1,000
yeah.
every quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Should I? Yes, probably. But the manpower and just the hours in the day, I've got plenty of excuses not to.
Yeah.
I spend one thing that's important, guys, with having your database established is, and this is something that's taught in the Buffini system, is to rate the quality of your referrals. Rate the quality of your relationships. Your A pluses are the ones that have already referred people to you on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Your A's are the ones who are your real close relationships that they will refer people to you, and you've taught them how to send referrals to you.
Mm-hmm.
Your B's and C's are relationships that you have on a first name basis, but they're relationships to be developed into good referral sources. And it's an ongoing thing. Once a year, it's important to go back through your database and kind of recategorize your people. Things change. Some people move out. Some people you may have had a conflict with. Some people may have already told you they're planning on buying or selling in the next year. So you reclassify those relationships every year. But the key thing is, I spend the majority of my time and efforts, my phone calls and my handwritten personal notes and my pop bys and say hello with my very best relationships.
Good.
Okay.
And are you also geographically kind of categorizing this? Because I've got contacts in Texas, but I've kind of just been focusing on people here in Colorado Springs. Is that your main market, or are you out of state too?
The out of state people that I have good relationships with, I have them as my, what I call my class C relationships.
Mhm.
They'll get an email once a month at the very least. But they won't get the time, effort, typically the handwritten personal notes and those type of things as my local market relationships that will develop local business for me. You can have a good relationship, guys, from out of state too, though, that you can still be their go-to realtor for any kind of real estate needs they have. They're going to be buying or selling, and they're in Dallas, Fort Worth. You can still be the person they call. David, we're getting ready to buy or sell our house. What do you recommend? How do I do this? Then he gives you the opportunity, David, not only give them the information about how to do it, but refer them to a realtor in that area who knows the market there very well, can do the whole thing for them, across the finish line. And at the same time, when it's all done, have a closing, send you a nice 25 to 30% referral fee. So referrals should be part of your overall business model too, because I tell you what, you get somebody has a sale and has a $12,000, $15,000 commission.
Sure.
You get
Okay. Yeah.
25% of that. Nothing wrong with that. It's a nice little surprise in the mail. So any other questions?
One thing I just throw out, Gary, because there's lots of ways I've learned, and you mentioned you hit lots of ways to build your database, and I think the key is just to be out there, be out there every day. Don't be afraid to talk to people. I know when I first got started, my excuse was the second one you had on that list was I'm new to the area and just don't know that many people. My family's all in Indiana. I moved here from California years ago, whatever. And so I just remember I just had to get out. I remember taking my laptop, I'm building, I'm working on my websites. I'm working on, different things, but I just realized I'm not going to pick up business by sitting here in the office doing this. So I just moved, I was at the coffee shops and I would sit there for 8 hours a day sometimes and just, working, doing my work, but I'm out where the people are. And I would overhear conversations. I remember I got good enough at it and just got over the fear of doing it, where I would literally about once every hour and a half, 2 hours, I'd take a break and I'd get out my business cards. I literally would walk around the Starbucks just little quick conversations and, hey, sorry to bother you guys. Whatever. I just want to pass out my card, whatever, a realtor here in town. Just if you know anybody looking to buy or sell, I'd love to have a chance to talk to them, whatever. And you start, and some people be like, not much conversation. Okay, great, thanks. And set the card, go on with. Some people you get into a 10-minute conversation with them and start building some rapport, and you just never know. The other thing I've learned too, I was talking to a new agent here the other day. I said, like reach out to these vendors, find a landscaper and whatever, and, set up a coffee with them. And just go talk to them, get to know their business, let them get to know your business, trade card, give them 10 cards, spring's coming, whatever. And they're going to be working on you, whatever. Just here, take some of my cards, man. If you ever got anybody, that you're working with and you're doing some landscaping or you're fixing the roof, you have a roofer you met with, and because they need to get the roof ready because they're getting their house ready to sell. Whatever, and just, hey, give them my card, whatever, and I'll do the same for you. If every year I need a couple roofers, for inspection issues or whatever, and you start just building that database of people like that through those vendors, and just you start building those relationships like that. But there's so many people out there, roofers, landscapers, the home inspectors, just all the people you're going to need, handymen. You can't have enough handymen sometimes, and to go meet with some of those people, but exchange cards and give them a little stack of cards that they could be passing out to people.
Yeah. Great point, Jeff. And then I'll tell you what, vendors and professional service providers are great centers of influence. They can be a real good referral source for you as you develop that relationship. I think about, Brian, who do you know is in the mortgage business? And who do you know who's your home inspector? And go to that mortgage person or the title person and have a coffee meeting and conversation, and ask that lady at the title company who's been doing some of your closings, said, I'm trying to expand my database. Who do you know who's a really good handyman, drywall person, vendor, home inspector, whatever might be the case? Ask them who they know who do they use for those various services? They won't be the same ones you use. They won't be, I promise you. They'll be very, very unusual to be the same ones. So you could go out if you have 20 people you know in Colorado Springs total, and you just ask those 20 people, who do they recommend to provide various services? Handyman, roofing, drywall, electrician, plumber, and they give you those names, and then you can call so-and-so. Betty Lou told me to give you a call, said you're the best plumber in town. I'd love to meet you. Da, 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 da. It happens, guys. 20 will become 100 before you can write it down.
So true.
But it won't happen staying in the house, hovering around your comfort zone and not making any kind of changes. If you want wasting to change, if you want your database to change and so forth, you got to change, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And change the things you've been doing. Because these things we're talking about are things that do work.
Mm-hmm.
Do work. It's not about reinventing the wheel. Those are all great questions.
Good stuff, Gary. Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate all you guys getting on here. Really good stuff. Maybe, Gary, what you could do, if you don't mind, that ebook, if you add it, you could add it into the Freedom Team group. Like you could upload it as a file, and it will create a post on there. And that way it's just stored there where anybody can come back, who watches this training, they could go to the files and get the book. If you wouldn't mind doing that. I thought about too, I've got a good memory jogger. I've seen some of those, and I could add that up there with it. And it's just, again, it's kind of that, it's just a long list of, all these different things, like who do you know that's a plumber? Who do you know that's, how many, the hairstylist? Who do you know? Just people that you could just help kind of brainstorm, on people that you could start, contacting and putting into a database. So anyway, might upload that as well, but good stuff. So thank you very much. Appreciate you getting on here. Okay. So guys, we'll wrap it up. We'll be back next Tuesday with more of this every Tuesday morning. Like I said, 10 o'clock Mountain Time, noon Eastern. We'll take a couple weeks off there around Christmas, but otherwise we will definitely be back doing this. So appreciate you guys being on here. Have a great rest of your day. Okay. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Okay.